Hello everyone, this is part 1 of What If Naruto Had a Proper Teacher. This story is made by AlexDnD, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more, comment down below. Of Konoha. Hokage-sama has made it clear this wasn't an optional choice. He was to lead Team 7, he was to personally mentor Sasuke as well as ensure the Nine Tails did not break free from Naruto. While Kakashi was incensed at first, in truth he had begun to look at it quite differently. Here was a chance to repay his sensei the Yondaime Hokage for all that he had done. He would train his child to be a splendid shinobi in honor of Minato. Kakashi was one of the privileged few to learn who Naruto's parents were. He had not been told until a few weeks ago. He had been irritated at being left in the dark, but he understood the Sandaime's motives. The elite Jonin wondered if he would still have been chosen if he hadn't turned his life around. After the deaths of all of his precious people, his father, his teammates and his sensei, he had begun to exhibit signs of mental stress. He started showing up extremely late, he began reading his erotica openly in the public, and he had become detached from everyone and everything. He had not made close bonds with others, but on one of his hour-long homages to the memorial stone something had snapped inside of him. Would all of them have wanted him to be on this path? No, they wouldn't. They would want him to serve Konoha to the best of his abilities. He had resolved to begin acting like a proper shinobi. To that end he began to train himself and work missions at a regular clip. His time in Anbu was marked with a high level of efficiency. His mission success rate was second to none. Kakashi was not considered to be at the level of the Sannin or the Hokage, but he was considered close. No other Jonin in the village was at his level. Kakashi chuckled at the thought of Guy's angry denials of his eternal rival being on a higher level than him. But simply put, he was. And now he was a Jonin in charge of 3 cute little genin. Kakashi had been hailed as a genius. Now he would bend his incredible abilities to being the best possible sensei he could be. There would be no wasted time. He would make them shinobi Minato would have been proud to fight with. This should be interesting. Kakashi's first impressions of his new team were not complimentary. Everything from attitude to abilities was a disappointment. Despite that, they did eventually muster up enough teamwork for him to pass them. What did I get myself into here? Kami, I better get started or they'll be annihilated on their first real mission. Kakashi gave his new team a nice smile. They were all pleased that they had passed the test. But it was no time to celebrate, their training was to begin. Congratulations, you are all shinobi ready to take missions on behalf of the village. He allowed them to bask in their satisfaction for a bit and then continued. Starting tomorrow you will be given a D ranked mission. It might mean walking dogs, weeding, or maybe even. Naruto interrupted with a jump and a yell, what? Give us a real mission. Kakashi blazed forward with a speed that none of his team could even follow. His fist collided with Naruto's stomach and doubled him over. Kakashi had pulled the punch, he didn't want to kill the kid after all. Naruto gasped for air as he collapsed on the ground. You do not make demands of me, genin. We are shinobi. I give orders, you follow them. When you are ready to take on more strenuous missions I will give them to you. But first you have to prove that all of you are capable of handling it. Sasuke grimaced. He couldn't do real missions until the dead last and the stupid fangirl got up to the right level. This would hold him back. This would interfere with his development. When he first learned his sensei was Kakashi he had been pleased. Kakashi was one of the elites of the village. He held the record for most ranked missions completed and he was still in his prime. Other than the Sannin or the Hokage himself no one could match him. It was only fitting that he and Uchiha would have such a competent instructor. And now he was going to be held back before of his team. Sasuke was furious. Kakashi saw the anger in Sasuke's eyes. Problem, Uchiha. Sasuke glared, I will follow your orders, sensei. He glanced at Naruto who was still on the ground groaning before continuing, but this is foolish. I need to get stronger and these two are going to hold me back. Sakura shouted, yeah, we are just going to hold Sasuke-kun back. She trailed off when she realized she was included in Sasuke's frustration. Kakashi chuckled. Well then you know what you have to do then. Sasuke looked confused. You'll have to help train him up to your level, and then we can go on advanced missions. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. I could get further on my own. Why should I waste time training the dead last? Kakashi moved and Sasuke was now the one on the ground. Because you little barker, this is a team. A team is only as strong as its weakest link. Success or failure on missions will be determined by how well a team works together. On the road while you sleep, someone on your team will be watching over you just as you will watch over them as they sleep. Do you want to be protected by a weakling? By someone incompetent? Sakura saw her beloved Sasuke-kun on the ground and shrieked at her sensei. What the hell is wrong with you? Why did you hurt my Sasuke-kun? Kakashi sighed and didn't even bother hitting Sakura. He just unleashed a healthy dose of his killer intent and she was soon curled in a ball on the ground. He paced back and forth while he waited for his team to recover. This team needs a lot of work and they need to get their heads on straight. Strict obedience is going to be required, but it wouldn't hurt to throw in a carrot or two. Kakashi made a mental list of what needed to be done first for each of his students. Naruto is a mess. He has stamina and drive but is too impulsive. His taijutsu forms are abominable and he has no chakra control. On the other hand, he has mastered the Kage Bunshin. He can be brought up to speed fairly quickly if it was used as a training technique. With Sasuke, I need to drill in teamwork and to care for his comrades. He's too arrogant to work with them right now. I'll have to hold out additional training as a reward for working with his team. He is a genius. He will pick up things quickly. His conditioning is good, but it's not where it needs to be in order to be the best. Kakashi thought about his eternal rivals' training techniques and decided to incorporate them. And finally Sakura. Kakashi inwardly sighed. She was toxic to their team dynamic. I'll need to use her crush for the Uchiha boy as a means of motivating her. It feels wrong, but a shinobi uses what he has available. Right now she is hopeless, however the academy reports were glowing about her chakra control. Genjutsu training would be just the thing. Both Naruto and Sasuke will be powerhouses in direct combat. A more subtle flair will help round the team out. As his three students finally recovered, they eyed their sensei nervously. I have just passed you and you have already made me regret my decision. Let me make this clear. We are a team and I am your leader. You will follow my instructions, you will not mouth off, and you will respect me. Moreover, you will respect your team. You are no longer in the academy, you are shinobi. You are part of the military arm of taijutsu and I expect you to compose yourself as such. Is that clear? All three genin hastily responded with, "Hi sensei." Kakashi nodded firmly. Tomorrow we will begin rank D missions, however the rest of today will be training. Kakashi brought his hands together and performed the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, creating one clone. The clone said, "Sakura, Sasuke over here, we will work on taijutsu." The original Kakashi turned to Naruto. Your scores at the academy were abysmal in everything, so we need to do remedial work. Naruto flushed and almost said something, but his gut was still sore from the vicious punch. Good, he's learning to keep his mouth shut. Kakashi touched Naruto's shoulder. But don't worry, I am your sensei, so before you know it you will surpass all the other genin in Konoha. Naruto shouted out in joy, "Yeah, and then I'll be the Hokage, believe it." Kakashi let out a groan. Not so loud, Naruto, you are shinobi. Naruto was literally hopping up and down ready for his training. First make 10 clones using Kage Bunshin, Kakashi ordered. Naruto concentrated and shouted, "Kage Bunshin," and 20 clones appeared. Naruto rubbed the back of his head. Oops. Kakashi shook his head. Your chakra control is awful, but for now this works just as well. Kakashi pulled out 4 books from a storage seal. He handed one book to the clone and told him to read a paragraph. The clone started to read. The village hidden in the leaves was founded in. Kakashi shook his head. Stop. Read it to yourself. The clone obeyed, and after a minute Kakashi asked the real Naruto, "Do you know when the village was founded?" Naruto flushed. No, I guessed I missed that part of the lecture in the academy, but who needs to know about all that boring stuff anyway? Kakashi twitched. Did the academy teach him nothing at all? Naruto, to shinobi information is life. Knowledge is more powerful than any jutsu. I have seen comrades die due to a lack of information, and I have killed to suppress information. Naruto looked ready to argue, but Kakashi let out a small burst of killing intent, quickly shutting the boy up. I expect you to learn, Naruto. You will be the team's knowledge base and tactician. You will memorize the bingo book and know everything there is to know about the 5 major hidden villages. Naruto's jaw dropped open. That's impossible. I see, can't do it. Let Sakura-chan do it, she's super smart. The famous copycat ninja smiled underneath his mask. Naruto, while she may be more intelligent than you have something that she cannot replicate. Like what? Kakashi demonstrated by kicking the clone who had read the passage on the founding date. Naruto blinked, the clone's memory of reading came back and he knew the date. Naruto looked dumbstruck for a moment and then the light bulb went on. Wait, anything my clones read I will know. Kakashi nodded, his pupil wasn't so foolish after all. Yatta. That means I never have to read anything again. Kakashi's eye twitched. Must not murder my genin. Must not murder my genin. Must not murder my genin, Kakashi silently repeated in his head over and over again. More importantly, Naruto, your chakra reserves allow you to read books faster than the quickest, most intelligent shinobi. You will be a font of information to your team, you will be able to quickly identify threats and relay information to your team about what to on watch for. This will be one of the key roles on the team, can you handle it? Naruto shouted his response, you bet I can. Believe it. Kakashi feared he would develop a facial tic. Why couldn't the boy act like a shinobi? Suppressing a sigh, he handed out the rest of the books to the clones. One was a book on the history of the Leaf Village. The second book was actually a bingo book that the real Naruto was oohing over before Kakashi ripped it out of his hands and gave it to a clone. The third book was a book chakra control, and finally the last book was a field manual on how to care for shinobi implements like kunai, ninja wire, kunai, scrolls and supplies. After Kakashi handed out the books, he had the clones start to read them while he turned to the real Naruto. All right Naruto, up first is perfecting your chakra control. Naruto grumbled, when am I going to learn a cool jutsu? Kakashi had the urge to punch the blonde-haired brat again, but he had learned how to control his emotions back when he joined Anbu. Naruto, you cannot learn powerful jutsu without control. Once you have completed the tree walking exercise, I will teach you a jutsu. Naruto jumped, well then let's get started, I'm going to be the best tree walker ever. Naruto paused for a second and looked up at his sensei, what do you mean tree walking? The older shinobi put his hands up, first things first, the basic chakra control exercise, the leaf concentration exercise. Naruto gave a heavy sigh, that stupid exercise Iruka-sensei tried to teach us in the academy. I'm a ninja, not a little kid. Kakashi struck instantly, this time a brutal snap kick to his face. Naruto crashed into a tree. You are a shinobi Naruto, that means obeying your military commander, me your jonin instructor. Act like a shinobi or you will learn no jutsu from me. Naruto growled and stared up angrily with his blue eyes focused on the one exposed eye Kakashi had. Yes Kakashi-sensei, I'll act like a shinobi. Kakashi helped the boy up. All right then Naruto, it's time to do the leaf exercise, let me show you. He took a leaf and placed it on his forehead. The leaf began to spin slowly in a circle. Now you try. The young orphan took a leaf and placed it on his head and concentrated on it. The leaf did not move. Imagine your head has energy. Slowly concentrate on that energy and imagine it slowly spinning like water down a drain. Kakashi's voice spoke slowly and almost hypnotically. Naruto concentrated and then felt the leaf leave his forehead. Kakashi saw the leaf blown away with quite a bit of force. Kakashi gave an eye smile and said, now that you've felt the energy you know what to do. Next time focus on control and imagine the energy moving slower. Naruto picked up another leaf and Kakashi shook his head. Remember Naruto, everything your clones learn, you learn. Have your clones all work on the leaf exercise. Naruto's clones quickly got to work and leaves were flying all over the place. Kakashi beckoned Naruto to follow him away from the whirlwind of leaves. All right Naruto, 2 final items to your training that we will go over today. The first is your taijutsu. It reminds me of a drunken civilian brawl. It's sloppy, wasteful and the opposite of how my team will operate. We will spend the next 2 hours correcting your forms. Naruto stifled a groan. Kakashi-sensei hit hard and he did not want to get hit again. While Kakashi had gone over the training with Naruto, his clone was working with Sasuke and Sakura. All right, while the real me works with Naruto, I will work with you too. First I want to see a taijutsu spar. First one down on the ground loses. Don't break any bones, we'll be doing several spars in a row. Sasuke smirked at the fangirl. This would be easy. Sakura raised her hands and took a hesitant step back. She had to fight her Sasuke-kun. The clone raised its hand and brought it down. Begin. Sasuke immediately rushed forward and sent a hard punch streaking towards Sakura's face. Sakura dodged to the right and tried to grab the arm, but Sasuke quickly followed the forward motion of his punch with his body flipping forward and around, causing his heel to smash into the kunoichi's head. Sakura collapsed onto the ground, clutching her head. Pathetic, Sasuke thought to himself. Kakashi agreed with Sasuke's internal thoughts. All right, Sasuke, why did she lose? Because she is weak. Sakura felt a stab of hurt in her heart. No, describe for me the physical mistakes she made in the spar. Sasuke quickly analyzed what had occurred. She was slow on her dodge. If she was quicker, she might have been able to grab my arm and throw me. And then when I flipped around, she should have seen the move and jumped back. Kakashi nodded. Good, that was a sound analysis of the spar. Again. Sasuke readied himself as Sakura got up on wobbly legs. Begin. Sasuke surged forward again, this time striking towards the abdomen with a kick. Sakura managed to block the blow with her arm but winced from the contact. She was shoved back a foot and lost her balance, catching herself right as Sasuke fired a kick towards her head. She barely had time to duck. Sasuke spun and fired another kick. Sakura, still off balance, could do nothing else but block, and again she stumbled backward. Sasuke sneered in disgust. This was pathetic. Even the Dobe could do better than her. Sakura got back her balance and watched Sasuke wait for her attack. She tried a palm strike to his head, which he deflected with an upward rising block and struck out with the same hand that blocked, catching Sakura in the throat with stiffened fingers. Sakura collapsed onto the ground, struggling to breathe. Kakashi frowned. If you injure her so she cannot continue, the training stops until tomorrow. Sasuke scowled. While he had learned nothing yet, he knew Kakashi could teach him. Kakashi again had Sasuke analyze the fight. Sasuke went over the fight, pointing out Sakura's mistakes. When you unlock your Sharingan, you will see even deeper than what you are pointing out now. This is good practice, and by watching every movement closely, it's theorized that you could unlock it sooner. Kakashi saw Sakura struggle to her feet again. Sasuke raised his eyebrows in surprise. So that was the point of this little exercise, preparing him for the Sharingan. Sasuke smirked a bit. Maybe his sensei did know what he was talking about. They sparred and analyzed another 5 bouts. At the end, Sakura could barely stand. She was bruised, exhausted and dispirited. The Kakashi clone looked at her and shook his head. Haruno, your stamina is pitiful. What is your typical workout routine? Kakashi sensei, I only worked out at during academy. The clone twitched. Do you have any desire at all to be a shinobi? Sakura's inner voice shouted, Hi, I need to be a shinobi to be close to Sasuke. Sakura wisely did not repeat those words out loud. Hi, I do, sensei, I didn't know I needed to. Kakashi glared at her. Before we meet in the mornings, you are to get up, stretch and run 3 miles. Every day. After we are done with training here, you will work on taijutsu forms for 1 hour. Hi, I can do nothing else physically with you right now, so take this leaf and work on your chakra control. The clone went over what he wanted her to do and was surprised when she could rotate it on her first try. Add another leaf and rotate one clockwise and the other counterclockwise. Keep working at it until it becomes difficult for you to move the leaves. At that point, your chakra will be depleted and you will need to stop. Do not continue working this exercise once it becomes difficult. If you suffer chakra exhaustion, you'll be useless for days. Sakura went over to a nearby tree and began to spin leaves. The clone turned to Sasuke, walk with me. They walked a bit away and Sasuke wondered what his next training was going to be. Sasuke, you are no doubt this year's most gifted academy student. Sasuke didn't change his facial expression, but inwardly he smirked. And as you said before, the team is just going to hold you back. Sasuke nodded and responded in a way that he thought Kakashi would want him to respond. You are right, sensei, that was my thought, but I see the wisdom in having strong allies when a mission incorporates multiple objectives in separate locations. As well as when they are at watch during their shift at night. Kakashi clapped his hands. You said exactly what you thought I wanted to hear. But I am not an academy instructor, I am not a chunin, I am an elite jonin. I am honed in the arts of deception. I can detect lies and half-truths through minute movements in your breathing, your pulse and your speech mannerisms. And all of that tells me is that you are a liar. A massive wave of killing intent forced Sasuke to back up before he tripped over his own feet. Right now I don't care if you feel they are holding you back or not, it is important for you to help them become stronger. I will not hurt you for having rational discussion on the subject, but I will not put up with a false front. Tell me how you really feel. Sasuke relaxed as the killing intent left. And then he grew angry. What right did this man have to lecture him? He was the last Uchiha and he had to avenge his clan. Fine sensei, I'll tell you I feel. I'm stuck with dead last and a pathetic fangirl. She doesn't even do a minimal amount of conditioning. I am strong and they are weak and I must sacrifice my time and energy fixing their incompetence. The strong should not have to teach the weak. The Kakashi clone chuckled. If I follow your logic correctly, then because you are stronger than they are you shouldn't have to teach them. Sasuke nodded. So since I am stronger than you I shouldn't teach you then. Sasuke froze and then said, that's different. Kakashi shook his head, no it is not. This is Konoha, here the strong help and support our weaker members. Our Hokage allows civilians to make decisions in this village even though they have no power. We are strong so we can protect others. Kakashi could see he hadn't gotten through to the boy, but hopefully this discussion would make him think. Your beliefs are your own, Sasuke, but if you want to learn the jutsu I have then you will help me bring him up to par. Sasuke nodded, he had no choice, he had to get more powerful. Hi Kakashi-sensei. Good, now let's talk about your own conditioning. Sasuke frowned, I run plenty, I practice my taijutsu daily for hours and I even practice ninjutsu. Kakashi stopped by the tree where he had placed the weights. Sasuke was a little unnerved that their conversation finished at the exact spot where the clone pulled out a package from behind the tree. That kind of planning was impressive. These are leg weights and a weighted vest. The vest weighs 20 pounds and each leg weight weighs 5 pounds. This is just a start, but this will make your workouts more strenuous and will improve your speed when they are removed. I will caution you to be precise while you work with them. Fractures are more likely to occur when wearing additional weights. Sasuke gave his trademark smirk, and I guess Sakura might last a bit longer if I'm slowed down by this. Kakashi moved on to the next subject, for the rest of today I want you to work on chakra control. Sasuke frowned when he was not able to twirl the leaves in opposite directions on his first try. Kakashi grinned under his mask, found something Sakura can do better than you. Sasuke scowled and redoubled his efforts. Meet in front of the Hokage Tower at 8 a.m. We'll do our first mission as a team and then it's back to training. Sakura thought about the sparring matches. She had gotten destroyed by Sasuke and that was with him holding back. Sakura shivered, was she really that weak? She had seen the contempt that Sasuke had for her taijutsu. Sakura felt tears coming in but forced them back. She would not cry. She was a shinobi. She would do the conditioning and get stronger. For her team, for her Sasuke-kun, and for herself. Naruto finished the taijutsu forms training. His stance and form had improved considerably but he had yet to even spar with it. Kakashi froze for a split second while his clone pop finished with Sakura and Sasuke. These genin are so frustrating. I'm going to have to report to Hokage that the academy is failing this generation utterly. All right Naruto, dispel your clones. Naruto complied and froze for 2 seconds as the collected memories and knowledge filled him. Kakashi lightly did a leg sweep knocking Naruto on the ground. In a battle you would have been more than dead, anything more than a fraction of a second is too long. Don't dwell on the clone's memories, you have the knowledge. Naruto picked himself up, hi sensei. The former Anbu caption then had Naruto try to the leaf exercise again. This time the leaf stayed on his head and started to twirl around. Naruto shouted with glee, Yatta. I did it. Now I can learn some truly awesome jutsu. What did I tell you earlier, Naruto? Naruto thought frantically for several seconds. Oh, I need to do the tree walking thing before I learn jutsu. Correct. We will begin that tomorrow after our first D rank mission. In the meantime I have something for you. Kakashi pulled out a set of weights. These are 10-pound leg weights and a 40-pound vest. Wear these at all times. When you can move smoothly without them then we will increase their weights. Naruto tried them on and struggled to move with them. Also you'll likely hurt yourself if you move around in your normal rambunctious way, so don't go crazy with them. Kakashi looked at the boy's height and began to question him on his meals. Kakashi's eye twitched at the amount of ramen he ate to the exclusion of almost everything else. No wonder the boy's growth has been stunted. Kakashi proceeded to lecture Naruto on the proper food he should eat. Naruto complained about how he hated vegetables. Kakashi eyed the boy. While his statement was true, he could sense more than that going on. The villagers must not be selling the boy food. Naruto, you are a shinobi. I will go shopping with you today for food. Naruto flushed. Sensei, I don't have money right now, I spent it all on the gear I needed for today's test. Kakashi's eye flashed with rage for an instant. Those kunai were new. They were rusted and damaged. Who the hell had been sabotaging a shinobi of the leaf? Where did you buy your kunai from, Naruto? I'm the weapons salesman near the training ground. Kakashi knew the place, not the best, but typically they sold appropriate gear. All right, Naruto, I'll pay for groceries this time, but we will be getting you proper food. Without proper food you cannot be a proper shinobi. Naruto was gloomy. He did not want to eat vegetables and he did not want to be chased out of a store in front of his new sensei. Thank you, Kakashi-sensei, but it's fine, I'll manage. I wasn't making a request. Naruto gulped and nodded. His sensei was scary, and had no qualms about beating his students when they refused orders. Kakashi, sensing a learning opportunity, walked Naruto back into the village proper. Naruto, I trust you are familiar with the Henge no Jutsu. Hi Kakashi-sensei. Use it to turn into Sasuke. Naruto was in fact not stupid. He was emotionally, physically and mentally stunted from the abuse the village had given him. However, beyond the handicaps his environment had provided him, he was the son of Minato, widely considered the most powerful shinobi the Leaf had ever produced. Naruto showed his lineage by slamming his palm into his forehead. I am so stupid, Naruto shouted. I could have used a henge this entire time to go anywhere I wanted. I could have used it to get away from the mobs. I could have. Tears began to leak from his piercing blue eyes. Kakashi felt a surge of rage. How could this village be so monstrous to one of their own? Kakashi vowed not to fail Naruto the way the village has. Kakashi stopped walking and Naruto turned toward his sensei, desperately trying to wipe his tears away. Naruto, I am your sensei. It is my responsibility and privilege to teach you. I will not condemn you for your past failures. All I expect you to do is learn from them. You have the potential to be Hokage, never doubt that. Naruto shivered. So few people had ever helped him. Iruka-sensei, Tsuki, Ayami and Gigi had been the only ones. And here was another. Naruto felt adrenaline surge through his body. He had hope for the future, true hope, not just blind defiance in the face of utter despair. Thank you, Kakashi-sensei. I won't let you down. Naruto's voice was filled with conviction. Good. Now let's get you some food. Naruto thought back on his day as he munched on the fresh produce. He didn't really like the taste of celery and broccoli, but if helped him become the Hokage, then he could withstand it. His sensei was teaching him how to be a real shinobi and he was on Sakura-chan's team. He hated the fact he had to put up with Sasuke, but it was a small price to pay for all of the other pluses. The knowledge he gained from his clones' reading was amazing. Who knew that books could be so interesting when you didn't have to read them? And the bingo book was the absolute best. Those were missing nins who he might be hunting down very soon. Kakashi would have rolled his eyes at the eagerness to fight dangerous criminals, but Naruto's confidence had only grown after his conversation about using a henge to buy food and supplies at normal prices. Naruto was even in bed reading the bingo book instead of having a clone do it. Naruto pored over the pages of Shinobi from C to S ranked. Naruto, being Naruto, spent a lot of time reading about S-rank ninja. He learned about the Leaf's greatest traitor Orochimaru. Naruto was fascinated by Orochimaru's ability to summon a giant snake. He wondered if there were other animals a ninja could summon. He tried to think back to Iruka-sensei's classes, but it was all pretty hazy. Naruto stayed up far too late reading the book, but eventually he fell asleep. He was asleep and fully content with his lot in life because his dream had never been closer. Kakashi met with the Sandaime Hokage. Kakashi was agitated but respectful of his leader. Hokage-sama, my 3 genin have been crippled by the academy. Do all genin come out like this, or am I just lucky? Sarutobi puffed at his pipe. Whom could you be more specific? Kakashi paced in front of the leader of the Leaf's desk. Where to begin? Let's start with Naruto. His taijutsu is awful. His chakra control is non-existent. He doesn't act or think like a ninja. I've had to physically attack him just to get his attention. The third side, Kakashi. He's had a hard life and, Kakashi held up a hand respectfully, Hokage-sama, that kind of attitude will get him killed. He is shinobi. He is not a child. I do not tell you this in order to attack Naruto or to request him off my team. I tell you this so you can fix the academy. Sarutobi gave Kakashi's words consideration and Kakashi continued. Naruto isn't the only problem. The next problem's name is Sakura. We were making introductions and she couldn't complete a full sentence to her Jonin-sensei without blushing and giggling about Sasuke. Again, what are they teaching in the academy? Sarutobi exhaled more smoke. Her parents are civilians, and she may not know the protocol of how to act as a genin. Kakashi was bewildered. How could the Hokage be defending this? The academy is for learning. Why wasn't she taught how to maintain her composure? She is acting like a giggling schoolgirl as opposed to a trained weapon. Now you sound like Danzo-san. They may be weapons, but that is not all that they are, exclaimed Sarutobi. Kakashi twitched. If you coddle shinobi, you end up with dead shinobi. I didn't stay long in the academy when I was a child, but from what I saw, they had standards. I read over the test scores and practical exams. They only learned 3 jutsu. The third Hokage sighed deeply. Kakashi, you are often on missions away from the village. I applaud your sense of duty, but there is a reason the academy standards were softened. The elder shinobi stood up on his weary legs and walked over to a window facing away from Kakashi. The civilian council wanted more of their children to pass the exam. They wanted their children to be shinobi too, but with the standards as they were, only the clan children were passing. Kakashi muttered, that's probably because their parents actually taught them how to be a ninja before sending them to the academy. Quite possible. However, our shinobi ranks have grown because we have allowed civilians an opportunity to pass. And while other hidden villages may have more capable genin, they throw their lives away. We nurture and protect our shinobi. Only our most promising jonin can lead genin teams, and through the shelter of the mighty trees around them they grow to be splendid shinobi. Kakashi understood where the professor was coming from. He had obviously given it a lot of thought. While other villages produced superior starting genin, through the personalized attention of an elite jonin, the village hidden in the leaves produced a finer end product. In theory. But all that time was wasted in the academy was a sore point to Kakashi. And there was one final reason I accepted the lowering of the academy standards. Our finest shinobi are child prodigies like you. Many of whom have physiological concerns. Before you snapped out of your depression, you were starting to read erotic literature in public and showing up hours late to missions. Tell me, Kakashi, is that proper shinobi behavior? What of my own students? One is an alcoholic gambler and another turned traitor to this village. No, Kakashi, this is the better way. Turning child prodigies into missing nin has caused more destruction than any lax standards. Kakashi knew the argument was over. He disagreed, but he was a keen enough judge of character to know that the Hokage would not be swayed. I have my work cut out for me then, Hokage-sama. They said their farewells and Kakashi went home to plan how he was going to fix his 3 shinobi. The next morning the 3 genin made it to the Hokage Tower on time. Naruto had followed his sensei's instructions and had a dozen clones working on chakra control while another 4 finished reading the books provided. He was a little tired from his late night, but his energy levels were such that he was still bouncing with excitement. Sakura was winded. She didn't even squeal about seeing her Sasuke-kun. Yesterday had exhausted her and she was still breathing heavily from her run that morning. Sasuke was adjusting to the new weights well and was actually looking forward to training. They just had to get done with whatever stupid useless chore mission they had so they could start. Kakashi had their mission ready: locate and find a missing cat. The mission was harder than any of them expected, but it was finally done around noon. Kakashi was ready for the next lesson on chakra control. I promised to teach jutsu after you completed the tree walking exercise. Here is what success looks like. Kakashi promptly walked up to the top of a tree at a slow pace. The key is to form chakra at your feet to stick to the surface. Too little chakra and you fall off, too much chakra and the bark will explode beneath you. I suggest getting a running start. Mark your progress with a kunai. All 3 of them eagerly began their task. Sakura didn't want her Sasuke-kun to look down on her like he had yesterday. Naruto of course wanted jutsu. Sasuke also wanted jutsu. He needed power and Kakashi could give it to him. It was a shock to all of the genin when bark exploded underneath the soles of Naruto and Sasuke's feet, but not Sakura's. Sakura actually made it all the way up the tree. Sasuke glared at Sakura. How the hell had she mastered this technique first? Sakura was pleased with herself until she saw Sasuke's face. She bit her lip, alarmed that she had ruined her chances with Sasuke-kun. Kakashi glared dangerously at the black-haired boy. Are you angry, Sasuke? Sasuke turned warily toward his sensei and responded with a curt, no, Kakashi-sensei. Liar, Kakashi snarled as his form blurred. His kick smashed the Uchiha air in the side of his head. Sasuke flew 10 feet horizontally before plummeting to the ground. Damn it, I couldn't even follow his movements, let alone defend against it. Both Sakura and Naruto went still. Kakashi was radiating anger. Do not lie to your sensei, snarled Kakashi. You're pathetic. I told you that you couldn't do more difficult missions until your comrade's abilities met my standards. When one of your team demonstrates a superior ability, instead of being pleased, you let your petty jealousy get in the way. No ninja, not even the Yondaime, is the best in every shinobi skill. Sasuke groaned and struggled to his feet. Kakashi rushed forward and Sasuke flinched when Kakashi stopped inches from his face. Which is it, Sasuke? Are you happy that your comrade's ability will mean you can do real missions, or are you still angry that she has better chakra control than you do? Sasuke breathed heavily. This hadn't happened to him since the massacre. No one talked to him like this. No one challenged him in this way. Sasuke knew a falsehood would just bring on more pain. Both, he shouted at Kakashi. I want to do stronger missions, but I should be the best. I am an Uchiha, how can I be behind her? How can I ever get as strong as I need to be if I'm not the best? I have to be the best, I have to get stronger, I need power if I'm ever going. Words failed him as he realized he had an audience. Kakashi backhanded him and Sasuke fell to the ground. Yelling at your Jonin sensei in other villages would get you a lashing. You're lucky I'm so nice, he glared down at the young battered Uchiha. I told all of you before that you are a team. Celebrate your teammates' successes, don't be jealous. Your teammate can show you how they did it, they can help you get stronger faster than if you were on your own. Naruto couldn't suppress a grin at what had just occurred. Kakashi had just put the oh-so-great Sasuke in his place. In front of Sakura too. Naruto had always been the one being lectured, and now it was the rookie of the year's turn. Kakashi's eye twitched. He felt a spike of loathing flash through his body for his team. Perhaps he didn't have the right temperament to teach. Perhaps he had given Iruka and the other academy instructors not enough credit. This was the second day and he already wanted to kill his genin. Kakashi whirled on Naruto and slammed him against the tree, his forearm on the boy's throat. I read the reports, Naruto. Or should I just call you, dead last? Mocked by other students, mocked by even the instructors. I know you hated it, didn't you? Naruto struggled to breathe but croaked out an embarrassed, yes. And yet here you are taking delight in someone else's failing. I regret passing the lot of you. Kakashi released his grip on the boy and Naruto collapsed down. Naruto felt horrible. He disliked the team, but his sensei was right. Given the slightest chance, he had acted just like the other kids had when he got a question wrong. Filled with shame, he made his way to his feet and walked over to Sasuke, who was still on the ground with a shocked expression. Sasuke-san, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been happy that Kakashi-sensei attacked you. Sasuke looked at the blonde-haired boy in front of him. He couldn't stand the boy's antics and he couldn't stand the thought of being helped up by him. But Kakashi was watching. The one-eyed bastard was always watching. And damned it all, he was right too. He should be happy that his team had more potential. He grabbed Naruto's hand and let himself be helped up. Kakashi smiled underneath his mask. He suspected Sasuke had only accepted the hand up because he was watching, but all the same he had accepted the help. All right, now can any of you tell me why Sakura's control is the best? Sasuke answered, has she trained already with this? That would explain her ability. Kakashi shook his head, a reasonable guess, but no, this was her first time. Naruto furrowed his forehead and then shouted, I know this. Kakashi gestures for him to speak. It's because she has less chakra than we do, so she's able to control the right amount easier. Exactly, Naruto, you and Sasuke's chakra coils are much more developed. That means it will be harder for you two to gain fine control of your chakra. Sakura frowned. Just when she thought she had done something great, she learned that it was just because she was weak. Kakashi looked up at Sakura, who was still up in the tree. Sakura, even with your lower chakra reserves, your control is superb. You have a bright future ahead of you as a genjutsu specialist, a medical nin, or even an assassin. Naruto looked puzzled. Assassin. Hi. Because of her fine control, she can hide her chakra signature easier. What's more, her jutsu will be highly chakra efficient, meaning her kill strikes will be precise and hard to detect. Having lower chakra reserves does limit some of the larger jutsus, but chakra can be increased. While the analogy isn't perfect, chakra works like a muscle. Train with it every day and it will grow in size. It really was an overly simplified explanation, but Kakashi wasn't about to do an academy lecture. Sakura smiled. She had potential. She wasn't going to hold back. Sasuke-kun. Since you do have chakra control, I want you to work on growing your chakra pool. Climb up and down the tree until it becomes strenuous to keep the connection. Then come down and we'll work on taijutsu. Naruto and Sasuke continued to race at the trees. Slowly but surely they were making progress. Naruto grit his teeth as Sasuke started pulling ahead in their race. Kakashi did more than just watch. He carefully guided them in chakra control. He gave each boy hints and tips where they could improve. Naruto, on the 5th step you start pushing out too much chakra, concentrate. Sasuke, your left foot seems to be the one giving you problems, don't overcompensate. Neither boy made it to the top before Sakura started feeling the effects of chakra drain. She walked back down and breathed out heavily. It's getting difficult for me to hold the connection, Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi performed the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. All right Naruto, follow my clone, we'll do some more training while I have these two spar. Kakashi's clone took Naruto about half a mile away from the rest. All right Naruto, it's time you used your training technique to master the tree walking exercise. Form 20 clones. Naruto concentrated and 23 clones popped out. Kakashi whistled. Much better Naruto, I can't believe one day of chakra control practice has made such a difference. Even with your clones helping, that is impressive. Naruto beamed at the praise. Have half of them work on the tree walking exercise and the other half on the leaf exercise. Naruto questioned Kakashi, why not have all of them do the tree exercise? Because you haven't mastered the leaf exercise yet, you still have improvement to be made. When we get to elemental manipulation, you'll want to understand your body's chakra inside and out. You're wasting daylight, get started. The real Kakashi was watching a repeat of the other day. Sasuke dominated the spars even with the light weights on. Sakura was clearly exhausted and was even slower than yesterday. The elite Jonin was not surprised. She had worked hard yesterday and until she caught up with her conditioning she wouldn't be able to provide a good match for Sasuke. The raven-haired boy once again picked apart each spar with impressive detail. Kakashi had his doubts at first, but the academy was correct in their genius assessment. Sadly, being a genius didn't always translate into making wise decisions, Kakashi thought to himself. After the spars were done, Kakashi told Sasuke to continue working while he took Sakura for some additional training. 2 days ago Sasuke would have made a comment about how he deserved one-on-one training. Now he just went, and continued to work on the tree walking exercise. Sakura wondered why her one-eyed sensei wanted to give her additional training. Right now her chakra was spent and she was exhausted. She couldn't think of any type of training that she could actually accomplish right now. Your chakra control is excellent, Sakura. Tomorrow we'll work on water walking. But I want you to spend some time thinking about what expertise you want to have. Sakura considered her options. Assassination didn't sound like something she wanted to do. Genjutsu was considered a rare talent and it could impress Sasuke-kun. Being a medical nin also sounded very interesting because she did like to help people. Her sensei saw Sakura think it over. Don't make a decision now, Sakura. What I'd like you to do is check out basic medical nin textbooks from the Shinobi Library. Those books can help you learn how to kill as an assassin by striking certain parts of the body, and it can teach you the basic fundamentals of healing. The books won't teach you how to mold chakra to heal someone, but will give you the basic foundation of first aid and how the body operates. After you get a good handle on it, I will teach you a genjutsu. Once you have all of the information, I will allow you to make the decision on what you want to concentrate on. Sakura bit her lip. Sensei, this is a big decision, wouldn't you know best? Kakashi smiled underneath his mask. A shinobi makes decisions every day. You will need to learn to be confident in the decision you make. You hold life and death in your hands when you go on a mission. If you can't decide what to specialize in, how can you make decisions on the field? Kakashi stooped a bit lower and lowered his face to hers. This is your choice, Sakura. Sakura nodded her head. At dusk neither boy had mastered the tree walking exercise, much to their frustration. Both of them were hungry to learn a jutsu or three. After Kakashi called it a day, both continued to train. Kakashi laughed. They are going to regret this tomorrow. The next day dawned and every member of Team 7 aside from Kakashi were quite sore. The weights weren't massively heavy, but they were making their presence felt. And for Sakura, who had never exercised this much in her life, it was pure agony. But through the pain she clenched her teeth and completed her morning exercise. The D-ranked mission of the day was pulling up weeds and cleaning up around a field. The mission actually finished quite quickly when Kakashi had Naruto use his cage bunshin technique. They were done in less than 2 hours, which made everyone happy. Naruto felt like he had contributed the most with his technique. Sakura was just glad she didn't have to pull any more weeds with her sore muscles, and Sasuke was eager for more training. As the team finished the mission, Kakashi took them back out to their normal training spot. Kakashi told them that today they would learn about how to handle themselves as shinobi in a fight. Naruto and Sasuke were to sit and practice rotating leaves on their forehead while Sakura paced up and down a tree as they listened. I'm going to share with you some of the lessons I've learned both as a shinobi and as an Anbu captain. Pay attention, because these lessons are lessons that many shinobi refuse to learn. Kakashi looked at their expectant face. The first and most important lesson is only 2 words. Ego kills. All three looked puzzled. Shinobi can bend the elements. Some can travel further and faster than any bird. Some can break rocks with the bare hands. This leads to pride, hubris, arrogance and ego. Wielding this power we feel invincible, and that is when we take stupid risks. That is when we die. The most danger you will ever be in is the moment you think you've won the battle. Never assume your opponent is defeated until they are dead. Kakashi paced back and forth. This was a passion of his. He couldn't stand the idiocy of other ninja. Why would you brag about your abilities? Why would you give information to your enemies? Along that same line of thought, never, and I mean never, explain to your opponent how your abilities work or how you were able to defeat their jutsu. Pride causes shinobi to brag about how their bloodline, special training or weapon makes them invincible. Such stupidity has led to strong shinobi actually losing to weaker and less powerful opponents. The three sat in stunned silence. All of them could see the appeal of showing how they defeated their enemy, but when they really took a moment to think about it, they realized it was pretty idiotic. Kakashi let the words sink in and then continued with his lesson. On a mission, when it is time to kill. Kill. Do not toy with your enemy. Do not mock them. Do not test their abilities. Do none of those things. Kill them as quickly and as effectively as possible. Sakura swallowed heavily. There it was, talk about killing again. Naruto and Sasuke were not as affected by it. Naruto had been ready to kill Mizuki for trying to murder Iruka-sensei, and Sasuke had made it his life's mission to kill someone. It may not always be appropriate to use your most powerful jutsu, especially since the more powerful the jutsu, the more it may drain your chakra. If there is a significant probability of additional opponents, you may want to save your chakra. Maybe. All is contextual, but I'd rather you err on the side of overkill. And for the love of Kami, don't sit there and admire your jutsu. If your opponent is injured by your attack, follow up immediately. Before your attack even lands, start preparing for your next strike. Constant motion is required. Attack swiftly, relentlessly and without mercy. Kakashi stopped and met each of his students' eyes. Constant motion will keep you alive and your enemy unbalanced. Kakashi went on for some time explaining common sense rules that most shinobi seemed incapable of following. But it boiled down to some very simple truths. Hide your strength. Kill swiftly. Never assume you have won. Kakashi repeated the lesson until he felt that all of them had learned them. He caught Sasuke's eye when he spoke of arrogance. Naruto's eye when he talked about boasting. And every time he mentioned the word kill, he practically glared in Sakura's direction. Disobey my rules and I'll make you do D-rank missions until you're 50. Got it? Hi sensei, his genin squad shouted at once. Kakashi allowed a small thrill of pride to percolate across his body. It had only been a couple of days, but his cute little genin were turning into obedient shinobi. All right, rant over, time to see their progress on the tree walking exercise. All right, you two up the trees, Kakashi ordered. Naruto and Sasuke both raced up the tree. Their skill had improved greatly. They were actually able to run up the tree. A combination of momentum, athleticism and chakra control allowed them to do it. Both boys felt triumphant, Naruto with a massive grin and Sasuke with a more subtle smirk. Kakashi almost regretted bursting their bubble. Impressive, you've mastered tree running. Too bad you'll need to master tree walking before you get jutsu. Both genin sagged in disappointment. Another day and no jutsu. Kakashi gave them a nice smile. I'm going to go work with Sakura on the next level of chakra control, try not to keep her waiting too long. Sakura glared at her sensei. Was he trying to get her Sasuke-kun mad at her? Sasuke was many things but stupid was not one of them. Kakashi was baiting him deliberately and he would be damned if he walked into it. Kakashi eyed the glaring kunoichi and said, there is a pond 2 miles from here, start running. Sakura whimpered as she picked up her leaden feet and started to jog. Kakashi fired a kunai that scraped her calf. I said run. Sakura's panic-stricken face whirled toward her sensei as she saw him heft another kunai. As he lifted it to throw, Sakura doubled her pace as Kakashi laughed. Once they made it to the pond, Kakashi had Sakura begin water walking. Once again he was impressed by her ability to pick it up so swiftly. Her chakra control was really something else. She had only fallen in twice and now was standing on it as easily as she stood on the earth. You need to improve on your stamina and your chakra reserves. That means you get to do your taijutsu forms for the next 2 hours on the water. Sakura shivered. If she had known this is what it took to be a shinobi, she would have never signed up. Sakura would not back down now though. She would prove that she could be a shinobi. She would prove that she was worthy of her Sasuke-kun. Kakashi left a clone there and went back to monitor the progress of the other 2 members of his team. He worked with them on their chakra control and by the end of the 2 hours they had made significant progress. Kakashi was impressed. After the first day he had thought this was going to take a painful amount of time for them to get up to the standards Kakashi would have set for the academy. Both boys oozed potential, and with their fierce competitive nature they were giving it their all. Sakura had been forced to run back to the camp by the Kakashi clone and she fell down panting. The man was a monster. Kakashi motioned for Naruto and Sasuke to stop and said, well done all of you. You should all be at the level of chakra control needed to start learning jutsu. That made all of them happy. In preparation for that I need to determine your elemental affinities. While they had been briefed in the academy there were things they did not know. Kakashi explained how most shinobi had an affinity with a specific element. It made learning jutsu from that element much easier. Naruto had then asked, can you have more than one affinity? Kakashi shook his head, not without a Kekkei Genkai, however that does not mean you can't learn jutsus from another element. It is difficult. Each element requires molding chakra in a specific way. Learning jutsu that you have an affinity for is like studying a complex problem written in the language you know. Learning a jutsu that you do not have an affinity for is like studying a complex problem written in a foreign language. You can learn a second language but you typically will always think in your native tongue. Difficulties in learning multiple jutsu elements increases on an exponential level. Sakura understood this concept, so learning a second element is twice as hard but learning a third element might be 4 times as hard. Kakashi gave her an eye smile. Right concept, wrong degree. It's not precise but for most shinobi learning a second element is typically 10 times as hard. His students looked at him with round eyes. And learning a third element is then 100 times as hard as the first element. Kakashi held up his hand as they gawked at him. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, the first step is learning your affinities. Kakashi handed them each a specially prepared slip of chakra paper that would react to their natural affinity. There were some surprises. Sasuke thought he would have a fire-based affinity because that was the first elemental jutsu he had learned. It turned out his element was Raiten, or lightning. Naruto was wind, something that originally disappointed him. He had wanted fire or lighting because they looked the most powerful. Kakashi quickly disabused him of that notion. Watch the power of wind, Naruto. Kakashi blurred through the hand seals and ended with a strong thrust on the snake seal. Futon, Daytopper, wind release, great breakthrough. Immediately gale force wind smashed into one of the trees they had used to practice the tree walking exercise on. The tree resisted for the briefest of instants and then with a great tearing sound it was ripped out of the ground, roots and all. The tree smashed into another tree 20 feet away before the gale died. Naruto's blue eyes widened. Yeah, I can't wait to do that. With that move I'll be Hokage in no time. Kakashi's eye twitched. It's a C rank jutsu, Naruto. You have a long way to go even after you master this jutsu. Kakashi showed the ninja seals required for the move. Tiger, ox, dog, rabbit and snake are the hand signs. Don't try to push chakra into it. Instead I want you to make a batch of 20 clones. Have 5 of them working on just the hand signs. You need to move through them swiftly. Have the other 5 work on tree walking and finally we'll have the other 10 work on the first wind training exercise. While Naruto and his clones worked on the leaf cutting exercise, Kakashi had Sakura channel her chakra into the chakra paper. The paper swiftly burned to a crisp. Unfortunate, I had hoped one of them would be earth-based to round out the team, Kakashi thought to himself. Out loud he said, excellent, Sasuke can help you with your affinity since he already knows how to use a few fire techniques. Sasuke arched an eyebrow, you can make Kage Bunshin, why aren't you showing me and Sakura at the same time? Kakashi chuckled, Ma, you have me there. But the purpose of this is more than just learning jutsu, it's also to become used to depending on each other. Sasuke sighed but did not scowl or grimace. Kakashi chalked it up as a minor victory. For the rest of the day Kakashi oversaw their elemental training. Sasuke was a bit miffed he would get no training on Raiten until the next day, but it was still far faster than most genins learned. In fact, based on what he had learned from the academy, most genin were not taught elemental jutsu until they made Chunin. Besides that, teaching Sakura wasn't horrible. She seemed too exhausted to even try to flirt, and despite being clearly worn out she was catching the hang of it. She could actually form everything right on the jutsu except she lacked the chakra to actually make it form correctly. It was rather eye-opening because normally it would have taken several days or even weeks to learn how to properly learn how to mold chakra to give off heat. Sasuke was also surprised that by teaching he actually learned a more efficient way to mold the fire chakra himself. It actually increased the strength of his attack by at least 10%. While not drastic, it was a surprising and welcome discovery. Kakashi had the original Naruto stop with the leaf cutting exercise while his clones continued. Naruto, the last thing we will work on today is your taijutsu forms. I need to make sure you've erased the bad habits from the academy. Naruto whined, but sensei, I want to keep learning my new jutsu. Kakashi's hands blurred as he went through the seals for futon, Daytopper, wind release, great breakthrough. He lowered the chakra from his last attack so when it struck Naruto it only sent him smashing into a tree and bruising him as opposed to breaking bones. Naruto groaned. Kakashi looked down at the boy. Genin, you are under my command. I will tell you what you need to do. This is not a council, this is not an organization where everyone votes. I will decide what you do. I can end your training at any time, so I expect you to act like a shinobi and obey orders without backtalk. Kakashi knew he was being harsh on the boy, but he had to break him of his bad habits. He needed to stop being so undisciplined. Better he learn it here than on the field tragically. Kakashi glared at the boy. Now get up and show me your taijutsu. Naruto huffed and sprang up to his feet. Kakashi watched and was gratified by the fact Naruto was already getting acclimated to the weights. With the demon quickly mending any muscle strains or tears, he could increase Naruto's weights faster than what would normally be safe. Kakashi still had to correct the forms. I suppose a couple of days can't fix 4 years of neglect. Naruto was also frustrated that he still hadn't perfected the academy forms. Hey Kakashi-sensei, can I get my clones to work on this? Kakashi shook his head. It might help some, but you need to train your body to instinctively know the correct way to position yourself. Your clones might help you memorize a kata, but it won't help much in combat where attacks happen in a blink of an eye. Naruto grumbled and Kakashi had to laugh. Naruto, you wouldn't be able to run up a tree at this point if you didn't have the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. You should be thankful that your chakra reserves allow you to use the single best training ability available to a shinobi. Naruto had to laugh as well. Days ago he hadn't even thought he could learn so much. By now he had finished the 4 books. He was quite close to mastering tree walking and was beginning to learn a jutsu. They finished the day of training and Kakashi walked with Naruto back to Konoha proper. Naruto, have you finished the books I've lent you? Naruto nodded. I sure did, Kakashi-sensei. I know a lot more now. Kakashi gave him an eye smile. Who is the missing nin on page 33 of the bingo book? Naruto scratched his head as he responded, Himasasori of the Red Sand. Kakashi shook his head, no, that was page 39. I want you to have your clones not only read the book but memorize it. Naruto shrugged, that was hardly a burden since he wasn't the one actually doing it, he would just have a clone do it. Hi sensei. I also want you to go to the library and start a lot more reading. I want you to read the histories of all the villages. Read the stories of battles fought recently and from long ago. Read cookbooks and books on farming. Read about how to craft weapons and how to build structures. Read medical nin textbooks and books on the art of disguise. Read everything that could possibly give you an edge or a skill that you can use in battle or as a cover identity. Wow, that's a lot of books. It is, but I want you to start leaving behind 10 clones to do nothing but reading. You can make more than the 20 I have you using in training. But I don't want you to go crazy with the number of clones. Training with the potential number of clones you could make has never been tested before. Kakashi looked Naruto in the eye, we'll increase them slowly and see if it has any adverse effects on your mental state. Naruto gulped. He had never thought about that it would do something to his brain to have that many memories. He shivered a little bit but didn't let his determination waver. The Kage Bunshin would allow him to become the Hokage. I also want you to make a few clones that will henge as civilians. With them I want you to just have them wander the streets. Randomly follow your fellow shinobi when you see them for a few minutes. Why? Kakashi narrowed his eye at the boy and the boy quickly put his hands up. I'm not talking back, Kakashi-sensei. I'm just asking why you want me to do it. Kakashi answered, so that you can become used to blending in. There will be missions that you take on that will require stealth and subterfuge. Plus it will be a good way for you to figure out the way commerce and civilian life works. All right, I'll do it. After all, I need to know what people do every day so I can tell them how to do it even better when I'm Hokage. Kakashi just shook his head and thought, you still have long way to go, Naruto, but I'll help you get there. Break asterisk. Over the next few days Team 7 continued to progress. They would wrap up the D-ranked missions as soon as possible so they could get in more training. Sakura broke through the wall of exhaustion and could actually run the 3 miles with no problem. Sakura's chakra reserves were still a bit too low to complete Kaiten, Gokakyu no Jutsu, Fire Release, Great Fireball technique, but she was getting close. Sakura's spars with Sasuke were finally lasting more than a few seconds. Sasuke was faster and stronger by a fair margin. This forced Sakura to respond with the absolute best counter to each attack in order to hold parity for even a couple of seconds. For Sasuke, the bouts were becoming more interesting as his analysis was showing marked improvement by his teammate. Perhaps it wouldn't be long before they were given real mission. Naruto taijutsu forms were now embedded in his fighting style. This meant that his clones were much more dangerous than they were before. Kakashi taught him how to have his clones fight with a purpose and not just blindly rush in like a mob. The white-haired man also taught Naruto how the clones were just copies, and not absolutely perfect. No matter how perfect the chakra control, his clones would always be weaker in direct battle than the original. The Jinchuriki's chakra control was growing in leaps and bounds. Having 10 clones practice chakra control was like a week straight of chakra exercises for any other shinobi. While he still struggled with the massive chakra, he was swiftly catching up with Sasuke. Naruto had completed the leaf-cutting exercise after several days of having multiple clones work on it. There was more wind affinity training that could be done to hone his skill, but Kakashi would save that for later. Futon, Daytopper, Wind Release, Great Breakthrough was a fairly easy jutsu to learn. Kakashi would soon have Naruto actually using the jutsu. Sasuke was having a lot of success with learning Raiten. It had only taken him a day and half to master the equivalent of the leaf-cutting exercise. Even considering his drive and genius-level intellect, Kakashi had been impressed. Sasuke was amazed at how much easier it was to learn a lightning technique. On one day he asked Kakashi, why did my family teach me Kaiten, fire release jutsus instead of Raiten, lighting release? Kakashi had simply responded, clans tend to be mired in tradition. You were an Uchiha, so they taught you the fire element. It's as simple as that. Sasuke growled when he thought about how difficult it had been to learn a jutsu not of your affinity as a child. Sasuke learned his first Raiten, lighting release technique. It was a simple blast of electricity. Depending on the chakra level, it could even kill against a particular weak target like a civilian bandit. It was of more use in stunning a target for capture and interrogation. Sasuke could easily see the tactical implications of the technique. It was rather hard to ensure your opponent was still alive with a Kaiten fire release attack. The attack was either avoided or the target was burned horribly, there was little in between. At the end of the first week the weights were increased on Sasuke and Naruto. Small ankle weights were added to Sakura. Sakura was actually excited to be including with the boys in carrying extra weight. Despite everything her sadistic sensei was throwing at her, she was persevering and improving. Her Sasuke-kun had actually complimented her on one of their spars. Kakashi was a firm believer in holding your cards close to your chest. To that end, after the first week he went for drinks with some of his old Anbu pals and other Jonin sensei. During that time he put down his team quite often. Sitting next to Asuma Sarutobi he groused, "I should have failed that team, I would have to if I didn't think the council would have called for my head for failing the precious Uchiha." Asuma laughed and took another drink, "It can't be that bad. After all, Sasuke did graduate as Rookie of the Year." Kakashi grunted, "Rookie of the Year, huh? What can I say, standards have fallen. I'll give you that he isn't awful, but he has no teamwork, and when the Haruno girl surpassed him in chakra control he threw a hissy fit. He's a spoiled brat, I can't take that on a mission." Asuma was rather surprised. Considering how often his student Ino went on about how amazing her Sasuke-kun was, he had expected him to be a rising star. What about the others? Where to begin? The first time I met the team, Sakura was giggling and blushing over the spoiled brat. Then I learned she has the stamina of a flea. She's a disgrace to Kunoichi everywhere. I should have Kurenai Yohi scare her straight sometime. The bearded Jonin shook his head. "To your own student Kakashi. That's cold." Kakashi took a drink. How he did so without removing his mask was always very curious to everyone around him. "Naruto is the worst. He screams about being Hokage every chance he gets. Shinobi are silent killers, not loud-mouthed brawlers without any chakra control." Asuma felt bad for his fellow sensei. His team wasn't all roses, but at least they worked together and understood how to act like Shinobi. "Hang in there, Kakashi, you're the best of us, surely some of that will rub off on them." Kakashi gave a fake sigh. "Maybe, if I don't kill them first." Asuma laughed and ordered another round. Break. The second week of D-ranked missions and training began. After a hard day of chakra control and conditioning, Naruto asked Sakura for a date. Unlike all of the other times back at the academy, Sakura did not pound Naruto. Sakura instead laughed, "Naruto Baka, I don't even have the energy to go out with Sasuke-kun even if he did ask me. Kakashi-sensei is trying to kill me." Naruto smiled, he had been turned down but he hadn't been hit. That must mean he was getting on her good side. Soon enough she would be going out as his girlfriend, believe it, he thought to himself. Sakura made her way home. She was enamored with her medical nin textbooks. She was leaning heavily toward that type of training. Soon she would be working with Kakashi-sensei on genjutsu. Sakura was not stupid. She had seen the rapid improvement Naruto had made. And of course her Sasuke-kun was miles ahead of her. She was the weak link on the team, but if she could master healing or genjutsu she would be useful and provide a great support key. Kakashi-sensei had talked to them about how a team worked together, using the key strengths in the best possible way. In that way they would be greater than the sum of their parts. Synergy was the word he had used. Sakura had thought about it long and hard. Naruto and Sasuke-kun were learning powerful jutsu and would be fierce close combat fighters. Having another front-line fighter wouldn't be adding anything more, but a genjutsu or medical nin would round out the team nicely. Sakura finished her taijutsu forms and lay in bed exhausted. Those ankle weights had made things more difficult. She had been tempted to take them off, but the thought of letting herself down had prevented her. All of the sparring with Sasuke-kun had made things clear to the bright Kunoichi. Sasuke-kun respected strength and strong shinobi. The path to his heart was first to prove that she was a capable and useful member of his team. With that thought in mind she closed her eyes and dropped into sleep instantly. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.